The first one-room schools in this area were vital to the community, just like they are today. As early non-native families settled newly opened regions of the county in the mid-1800s, the first building constructed after a home was often a neighborhood school. Schools were central to each community. They were often used for church services prior to a church being built. Town meetings and social gatherings, such as dances and spelling bees, were also held at the schools.
The first school lessons taught in Lake County were at the home of Laura Sprague in Half Day in 1836. The following year, the first proper schoolhouse was built in Libertyville. In the 1840s, parents paid 50 cents per scholar per term to send their children to school. The teacher, generally female, was paid from this money. The buildings were funded by the families whose children attended the school. They paid for the school's construction, maintenance, and supplies, and took turns boarding the teacher at their home. By 1860, there were 110 schoolhouses scattered around the county with 3,905 children attending.
In 1912, there were 92 one-room schools in the county. But by this time, the popularity of the rural schools was waning in favor of larger, more completely equipped schools with teachers specializing in subject areas, rather than one teacher teaching all subject areas. Some of the one-room schools had as few as 10 students, and it was considered cheaper to bus them a few miles down the road to the larger central schools than to maintain smaller separate schools. Today, schools remain an integral part of our communities, but have changed and adapted with the times by updating technology and improving pedagogy.
One-room schools would have looked different from our schoolrooms today. We know what they have looked like through photographs, drawings, and descriptions like the one provided by Susie Smith-Minto. Susie Smith-Minto arrived with her family to the Antioch area in the 1840s at the age of 2. She grew up in Lake County and later became a teacher and writer and raised her family here. Susie documented her life through letters, diaries, recollections, photographs, and more. These primary sources are part of the Minto collection held at the Dunn Museum and show many aspects of life for a family living in Lake County from the 1840s to the early 1900s.
Here are some things you might see and notice in an 1840s schoolhouse. No desks, but benches and writing shelves along the walls. One wood-burning stove that would be used to keep the room warm. Often students were tasked with chopping the wood for the stove. A large slate board for the teacher to use during lessons or for students to write down their work. A podium or a lecture station for the teacher. Book and ink stored around the cupboards. Clothes pegs high on a wall to hang bags and coats.
In the Dunn Museum collection, we also have many objects that would have been used in early school rooms, such as books like the McGuffey Reader, which were used to help teach different subject matter from math to geography to spelling and reading comprehension. Each student would often have their own slate board where they would record and write their work. Large bells could have been purchased by schools to announce the start of the school day. Others would have smaller bells to gather the attention of students who were misbehaving. If a school could not afford a bell, teachers would wrap rulers to announce the start of the day or gather the students' attention. You may find a yoke and bucket by the door so students could walk to gather the water. Susie recalls walking a mile to the nearby river to get water and a mile back to the schoolhouse. You may also find rulers, attendance sheets.
We also have a unique part of our collection that helps record the early local schools. In 1918, 7th and 8th grade students throughout Lake County wrote out the history of schools in celebration of the Illinois Centennial. The histories feature photographs, accounts from students and teachers at one-room schoolhouses. In addition, you can find information on the settlement history of the area. 52 school histories are digitized and transcribed on the Illinois Digital Archives website, which you can check out to learn more.